How big is this win, Austin, taking on a guy who never lost, pretty hot prospect of his own name? How big was it not only just winning, but basically dominating with 2 rounds you were in there?
It felt good, man. I mean, I moved up a weight class, moved up to 185, and I wanted to see how my body would respond and see how I felt, and I feel good. I felt like he was a big opponent too for 185. He was a tall guy, so it gave me a realistic look at what I had going forward and whatnot. And I feel so nice, man. Not killing myself to make 170, and we got in and got it done.
Now I got to ask, how much is that also because Musashi's no longer around, but Cheetah's not around? All of a sudden, you have free for all at the middleweight title. I mean, 1 or 2 wins, all of a sudden, you could maybe be facing the champion within like early 2020.
Yeah, I mean, that's the plan. I want to fight the best in the world, and I feel like my skill set is set up for guys like that. I'm durable, I'm tough. I'm gonna go out there, and I'm always looking to get a finish. I mean, that's my 8th fight, and I think I have 6 finishes in 8 pro fights, and that's what people want to see. They want to see people get cut open and bleed, and I'm ready for it, and I'm ready for that next jump, and I want to take on a big name for sure.
That was kind of a horror show in there. I mean, like, did you have a feeling in between rounds, in between the second and third, that they might shut it down?
No, what's so funny is my wife is yelling at me, like, giving me instructions and whatnot. My wife's, my biggest coach and whatnot, and so she's telling me, hey, you need to go out and do this, and I'm like, hey, babe, the fight's over. They're calling the fight, and she still kept going, like, you need to do this, and like, babe, the fight is over, and so we, but yeah, I knew I cut him open quite a bit. I knew there was a lot of blood, and it just kind of pumps you up even more. It gets you more excited.
You probably hadn't heard the Sabaz call out of you prior to that, or did anybody tell you? I mean, considering you were walking out next.
Yeah, I'm honestly not really even sure who Sabaz is, or whatever. And so someone said something. I was like, I honestly wasn't paying attention to fights before or whatever, and so Big John kind of caught me off guard. I was like, I don't know who the fuck that is, honestly.
But the good thing is that, I mean, you're already at the point in your career where guys are calling you out like before you even fight. I mean, I think that has a lot to do with you, and it has, no offense to Paige, who's within earshot, but it has a lot to do with how you're performing in there as well.
Hey man, Mr. Manzant right here, so I'm ready to keep doing it, and like I said before, people want to test that and prove me wrong, so that's just what I have to say about that.
And you did say afterwards you feel like 185 is where you'll stay now. I mean, what's the biggest that you've walked around at in your career?
Yeah, I mean, as an amateur, I finished up my wrestling career, and I wrestled at 184, and I've always kind of wrestled up a weight class, and so I didn't have to kill my body, and I'm in this for the long run and for the longevity and whatnot, and so I haven't really cut a ton of weight prior in my career till I made that jump till I went to 170. So like I think I was like 230 right after I got done wrestling. I was lifting a lot and all that. So as an amateur, I fought at 205. I think I fought at catch weight at like 210 or whatever. And so the size thing, it is what it is. I feel strong and fast, and I think I'm a tough matchup for everybody.
Were you surprised at how big he was? Because that was the first thing I noticed when you guys were staring off. I know it was a different opponent, it was a short notice replacement, but were you surprised that he was as big as he was? And was that, kind of a good test for you, knowing that you can hang with guys that size?
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, we saw him walking around, and so we got a little glimpse of him before and watched his fights and whatnot. We knew he was going to be a big opponent. In my opinion, he was a little bigger than even what I saw like on video and whatnot. So, I think it was a good, like I said, a good realistic view on, if I'm going to fight the biggest guys at 185, he's going to be one of the biggest guys, and so he landed a couple body kicks early on, but God's blessed me with this big, strong core, and, it didn't really feel much, and so, I carry a lot of my weight, my core, and my legs, and I think I'm built to, you don't ever want to be built to take shots, but I feel like I'm built to take shots and punish people.
What was the advice in the corner between the first and the second round? Because obviously things really changed. You had a takedown in the first. You stood on top. You definitely won the round. The second round was a totally different story. What was the advice? What was the conversation like in the corner between rounds 1 and round 2?
Yeah, my coach is very cerebral, and and they know that I am too, and I'm attentive when they're talking to me in the corner, and really the advice was go out and when I set up my stuff, as soon as he starts rushing in, the double legs there all day, and so listen to that and listen to my coaches tell me the guard's open, be looking to pass and controlling the hands, controlling the head to land my elbows.
Connecticut in the winter, Connecticut in the summer, which do you prefer?
Man, it is muggy here in the summer. It's crazy. I'm from Alaska, so I'm an Alaska boy, and so I'm more partial to the cold and the snow, So I think I prefer the winter a little more. But Connecticut's a beautiful place, and I actually truly really like it here. It's coincidental that I fought here twice, but I really love Connecticut. So. They're coming back here like fairly soon, right? So get me on that card, and let me come back to Connecticut.
You mentioned before your Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu training. You said you have the best in the world. Top two guys at middleweight. One's John Salter, pretty damn good Jiu-Jitsu. The other one, Rafael Lovato Jr. Do you start now focusing on those two guys? Because they're the ones to get, if you want to get the title, you got to go through those two. Is that now the plan of, all right, get ready for heavy jiu-jitsu, heavy leg attacks, hooks, everything?
Yeah, I think so. John Salter, he's also, I'm an NAIA wrestling guy. John Salter wrestled at Lindenwood University. So, I've done my study and done my research and whatnot. I know he's one of the top guys too. And he's a good jiu-jitsu guy. And same with Rafael Lovato Jr. And I think I'm blessed to be put in this camp that I'm at with Fabiano, and I really truly feel like I got a lot going around me, and my wife, she's been around the world, she's trained at the best places, and I trust her more than anybody with what she tells me about my game and all that, and so I go into each fight with a lot of confidence because of her and because of Fabiano and my jiu-jitsu.
So we've seen you corner Paige. She's obviously cornered you. I mean, how special is that? Because not many people get to hear their wife in between rounds.
Man, it's unbelievable. Honestly, I feel like I'm cheating sometimes, the game and all that, because I have somebody who is with me 24/7, and knows me better than anybody in the world. But, she's like a second pair of eyes for myself, and she's the most brutally honest person. And that's what I want in my life. I want somebody honest with me and telling me, when I suck, and telling me when I'm good. And so when I hear that I'm good, I can believe it, from the bottom of my heart. And that's what she does for me. And it's such a special dynamic. And she is so freaking talented and good, on her own right. And I feel like she doesn't get that credit sometimes. But people are gonna see, she's coming back from an injury, and people are gonna see, Paige Vanderford, but they're gonna see a new her and someone who's hungry, and I think has kind of gotten that spark back. She's been hurt, she's seen the fight taken away from her, and I think she's someone who wants that and wants to fight. And I think her and I have a pretty special dynamic. And if you want to talk about power couples, I think we're at the top of the list.
What's the plan for the after party?
For the after party, so I'm going to Soho Bar or Martini, and want to have fun. I'm a fun guy. I'm from Alaska. I grew up fishing and mixing it up and drinking and having fun, man. So I'm kind of a country guy, and so let's go have fun.
There's a lot of speculation about Paige's contract coming to an end. Is that something you want to see, or is that too much to have your wife also in the same promotion as you?
No, not at all. I want to see her get what she deserves to get. She does so much for the sport, for women's MMA. She is so talented, and sometimes I think maybe that can go overlooked at times. And I want her to go out and get what she truly deserves, and wherever that is or whatever is what it's gonna be.
When I interviewed her after her last victory in New York, she mentioned not that getting married changes your mentality, but kind of brings new emotions to the cage, especially in the walk and lead up.
Yeah.
Was it similar for you, or was it just kind of all the same?
No, it's exactly the same. Of course, it feels so good to go out and accomplish and to win and do all that, but man, I would trade her winning over me winning any single day of the week, and it's just a special thing. And I'm so emotionally invested into her, and I do think it translates over to my fights as well, you know, because I know how much winning means to her as well, and me going out and performing well, so, you know, it gives me that extra fire and that extra edge, and, you know, when she tells me I'm born for this and I'm ready to go, then, like I said, it lights that fire under me for sure.
I know it's really fresh off your win, but do you have like a plan of like your title run? Do you want to like take 3 fights to it? Do you see 2 fights to a title shot, or is that not even on your mind right now?
Man, this game, you know, you want to be a champion. Yeah, you want to. I'm not fighting just to fight and have fun. I'm fighting to be the best in the world. And so, you know, whatever shortcuts I can take and whatever I feel like I'm ready to do it. You know, I think I've overcame adversity in my fights previously. You know, I fought 5. I think my 3rd professional fight, I fought a 5-round fight. You know, so I'm ready to do this, man, and I want to move up, and so whatever it is, 2 fights, 3 fights, 1 fight, I'm ready to do it.
One more, guys.
You good? Yeah.
Thank you.
Congratulations.